Ugh. I was gonna do something special, but then I sneezed. I was gonna be, I'm surprised. God, that's such a good line. It's stupid. It's amazing. All right. All right, let's see. I need to go ahead and pull this up. Do I have... Okay, I don't need the mystery flesh pits anymore. Also, let's see. Where is it? How are you guys doing? This is gonna be fun. I'm pogging. I guess just Monument Myth. For some reason, I don't have it saved. Oh, it's probably in this folder here. Yes, there it is. All right. Oh. What do you mean? Okay, so he's changed his channel name to Mr. Manticore. This is apparently part of the ARG or whatever that he's doing. But it broke my link to Alex, Kansas. Snow Dragon, thank you for 36 months of support. It's very kind of you. Just been panic drawing. I added a thing that I wanted, and I was like, well, the original scene I had was good, but what if I made it a lot more complex? What if I just made this obscenely complex for no reason? Because that's what I do with March and the Mice. And then I just have a little bit of a breakdown, just a little one. I'm glad we already have this scheduled, because it'll help. So we're looking into season 2. If you missed season 1, whoopsie for you. We're watching season 2. So go back and watch season 1. If you didn't, it's fine. So let's pick up where we left off. Also, I need to not show that. Okay. Okay. Let's just try. Because that's going to be a copyright claim right there. There we go. All right, cool. Just turn off the ads entirely like that. All right, so what did we learn last time? Trees are evil. Enable U-block. Okay, so I have ad block. No, I do have U-block. Okay, cool. More. Settings. What do I do? Yeah, President Dean, because he got. All right, so how do I do it where we can have private? Okay, well, should be fine. Let's just hope that we don't see anything cringe that I'm subbed to. Anyway, let's start watching. So Rockefeller, there's multiple timelines. There's our timeline, and then there's the James Dean timeline. Snow Dragon, thank you for the 36. That's 3 years of support, and I just kind of like walked by that. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then Nick, whatever, thank you for the 11 months of support. And then there's the Dean verse, sure, where James Dean didn't die in a car accident, instead became president. And there's a anti-Dean association where everyone hates James Dean. Alcatraz is a cancer that grows endlessly. They tried nuking it to get it to stop, but it just made it worse. The Statue of Liberty has a fella in it. George Washington is still alive. Absolutely nothing was done with that information. Just he's fine. He was frozen in ice. Freedom, the statue on top of, was it the White House? Where is that supposed to be? Got up and started murdering people when there was an attempt at an insurrection. The Capitol building. Okay. At Capitol Hill. And then what else is there? The Washington Monument also has a weird tree in it. The weird trees need to have people sacrificed to them, which involves them being dropped from a really high spot or something. And then there's the Lincoln Lookers, whose job it is to, I guess, be entombed in the statue of Lincoln. There's something fucked up going on with the I forget what it's called. The four presidents on a mountain that it used to be called like Grandfather's Mountain or something. Mount Rushmore. God, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with me is I just was like panicking trying to get drawings done because I'm like, God, oh man. March of the Mice, this tomorrow, March of the Mice, gonna be a banger. It's a bit of a setup for one, but it's going to determine whether or not people die. So you should probably show up. You guys get to make a decision. Anasi, thank you for the 10 months of support. Or 10 subs. That's 10 gift subs. Holy shit. Okay, thank you. So, but if no one shows up, no one has to die. All in the series. All right, let's watch this thing. Well, that's tomorrow at 5. It's currently 5:13 because I waffled for a minute. So 24 hours-ish from now, we'll be starting it. You! Also, do I need to be bigger? Oh, make me big. There's no reason not to be big. There we go. Theater mode. Make me a little smaller then. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna back that up because I was messing around with the screen region. Increase the decrease. Before you can finish brushing your teeth, before you can finish showering, before you can finish getting dressed, before you can finish breakfast, before you can finish the morning paper, popcorn will be ready. With startup time in just under 60 seconds, Popcorn Prime is the fastest personal computer on Earth. Oh, okay, it's a computer. Your popcorn is waiting. Maize manufacturing plants. 1960, 1971. Popcorn instead of Apple, sure. It's they had a different movie maker thing of the last one. Is this the path that Angel took as well? Also, it's like a sine wave? No. It kind of went up and around.
Personal computers may pose a risk to American lives and infrastructure. That means owning your computer at a local hazardous site collection center.
Fourth Amendment rights do not apply. Okay. What? I'm sorry. The right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures without probable cause. So that they can just take your computer without probable cause.
Delegation pays him this ovation and rises to its feet.
Maze produces the first video camera and home computer. Ahoy, boy! Oh, that's so bad. Maze collaborates with the Department of Defense. Okay, sure. They initiate the system to the control that. Okay, so that's kind of almost the path it took. It didn't really hit Texas, so I was keeping track on whether or not it would hit Texas because I only care about Texas. Maze is attacked in 1980. Okay, normal. Texas already going through enough with the mystery flesh pit. The last American personal computer shut down. In 2000, we learned from our mistakes. Control confidence, and today there are no doubts. So no one has computers anymore in this timeline. In the Deanverse, computers are illegal and can be taken from you. With the Maze Movie Maker, now you can take control. Which I believe is the movie system, or that's a video editing program that they were using in the Mr. Squirrel video. House in the Ocean is deleted. Okay, I hadn't gotten to it, so it doesn't really matter. But first, we spread the word. Okay, so whoever's making this is the person who did the other thing, right? That wrote on like the Lincoln Memorial and no, it appears to just be a cave. Maze got his footage somehow. Got it. Caves are cool, dude. This is just what caves look like, I'll be honest. I'd live in a cave too, dude. If I saw this house once that was built in a cave, I'd fucking live there. Caves are moist. That's okay. They stay really cold most of the year around. Like 60s, 70s. Which is like perfect temperature. Like 32 Celsius, I think that is. Why is there a cave under a factory? Well, there's one here in Austin. In the candle factory. You're not allowed to touch walls. Oh, 32°C is like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Never mind. Okay. Do not visit these sites. They have not been fed in years. Okay. Maya and Nathaniel Arnoldson. Okay, they're going to be important. Because I think that's the same person who did the first video. These are the two kids from the Grand Canyon, I think. It is what the tree did. It did the zappy electric thing. Hell yeah, Suez Canal! Oh shit, if it gets stuck, I'm gonna be so hype. Ever give it. Let's go! It's stuck again! Woo! President Clinton announces nuclear solution. All right. The last 2 weeks, the container ship Ever Given has obstructed the Suez Canal. With every passing hour, it's costing the global economy over $400 million. At the request of the Egyptian president, the United States will end the crisis with nuclear force. Both Congress and the United Nations Security Council have approved the use of small amount of Just fuck that boat. A blast itself will not reach the ship. However, the waves generated are expected to dislodge the Ever Given from its present position. Evacuations of cities along the waterway are in progress. So they're just gonna nuke the water nearby so that way it creates a ripple which knocks it free. The Deanverse gives no shits at all about safety. I mean, I'm glad it worked. That would have been fucked up had it not. I love that everyone was down with the American plan. Okay, bye. The tea machine. Where did Ever Given go? Ship disappeared according to officials. Got up and left. Why is everyone confused? Remember the ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal? It just disappeared. Just fucking left. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Just kind of walking away. Get stick bugged. The Americans just released a monster. No one asked for a sequel to the Attack of the Crab Monsters. The Americans destroyed the Suez Canal and released the demon. Great. Typical American shit. So the ship is alive, or is there something underneath it? The Suez Crab will not be destroyed. We're fine with nuking it to get it out of the way, but man, now that we know, okay, we cannot do that without creating great damage to the Ever Given. In this day and age, the world is unprepared for the loss of cargo of such magnitude. Therefore, the Suez Canal crab will not be destroyed. At this time, no containers will be lifted from the ship since low-flying aircraft cause the organism to ambulate unsteadily. In hopes of returning the Ever Given back to the sea, efforts are underway to carefully manipulate the crab's route through Egypt. This series goes like right on the line between horror and humor, and it does it perfectly. Barricade 1, Barricade 2. Cairo. Oh, right, yeah, because it just fucked off onto land. All right.
Hello. Hello. Okay, and then tell me, what do you think about the tower? It's your first visit here, so what do you think about the tower?
I thought it was a really good tower. It was very interesting to go up it. It gave you a really good sense of how busy Cairo is, so I really enjoyed it.
That was terrific. It was really great to get...
Great. Dude, that's wonderful. The tower is big, and it's good.
Kind of a sense of the scale of the city. It's kind of difficult to do that when you're walking around down on the street.
It's a breathtaking view, and it really gives you a terrific perspective of the whole city. And I loved it up there. I spent a couple of hours up on the top.
That, to be fair, that is what it's like to interview people. They will say the most just whatever shit because they get to be on TV. And I guess there's, dude, in the Deanverse, I'm not a YouTuber. Because computers are illegal. Gaming isn't a thing in the Deanverse. Because there's not computers. Why are they illegal? I'm not entirely sure. It's like something about a snake. It looks like they're somehow related to the monsters in the monuments. doing a public access TV show. Would I have done this had I done it on like? I mean, part of what like got me into streaming was like you just need a program and a half decent computer. Like the first computer I streamed with was shit, but it ran live stream, so I ran it. You know, I tried it. So would I? Also, chat is down here, just so you know. Like I look at chat when I'm talking. So there's probably a YouTube machine. Depending on how difficult it is to actually do, depends on. Because I wasn't planning on doing anything with this. I was just like, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna hang out and play video games like 4 people. Look at us. Hi, you're down there on my screen. I have to do this. So, I mean, would I have done art? I might have done better at UT, because I wouldn't have been splitting my attention. But then I wouldn't have. Yeah, actually, computers are fairly important to my life. In you know, how things would have happened. So in the Deanverse, I'm a completely different person. What would I be doing? Probably working some whatever job or trying to get my social work degree or something. Do I know my wife in the Deanverse? No. No. Probably not. We dated long distance for the longest time. So the Deanverse sucks, actually, turns out. Bad universe. Because we dated long distance, we wouldn't have been able to, like... I don't know how that would have worked. Hey, listen, no reason to be sad about it, because that's not real. The Deanverse isn't real. I'm actually married to my beautiful wife. So, you know. Yeah, we had to lose James Dean, but we gained my wife. And my wife is fucking cool. I love her. Anyway.
Due to evacuations around the Suez Canal, millions travel to Cairo in search.
Also, should mention... One of the guys, or one of the people, I say guys just because I'm tempted to say guys as a thing. Anyway, one of the people who worked on the music for this, wife in chat. Hi, wife, I love you. One of the people who worked on the music for this said, like, commented on the last video. It was like, oh, I'm so excited you're watching this, or whatever. Cool as hell, dude. Cool as fuck. Like... We were talking about it in chat. I'm just going to say it again. The music, the production value for this series is really good. Like, consistently good. Music being part of it.
Of housing. In response to this migration, many building capacity limits for popular attractions were inflated. The Cairo Tower, one of the tallest buildings in Egypt, had its own recommended capacity limit increased from 700 persons to 1,000.
I've never seen this building before in my life.
On the evening of April 16th, 2021, upwards of 1,200 visitors toured the Cairo Tower at once. Although concerns of overcrowding had been raised by several staff members, the building manager dismissed their comments. Since the Suez Canal crab would be passing by later in the evening, he also encouraged visitors to enter the upper levels of the tower, as that would provide a better vantage point. At 8 p.m., the Suez Canal crab was observed to have turned toward the Cairo Tower and proceeded to approach. Despite an alert sent out by the Egyptian government for civilians to immediately vacate structures in the crab's path, most visitors ignored the warning and stayed on the upper levels of the Cairo Tower as it came near. At 8:15 p.m., the Suez Canal crab was seen to have stumbled, and in an attempt to regain its balance, crashed into one side of the Cairo Tower, killing over 200 people. The resulting tremors that traversed the building damaged its staircases and elevator systems beyond repair. The cascade of shipping containers from the Ever Given knocked forward the initial stumble, lasted for over 2 minutes, as an estimated 800 containers broke from their locks and pushed forward an additional 1,000 containers. As all 1,800 containers tumbled down through the building, the structural integrity of the Cairo Tower rapidly diminished. Falling debris and containers are reported to have killed over 800 visitors. At 8:19 p.m., the Cairo Tower fully collapsed, dragging the immobilized Suez Canal crab into the ground. In total, only 39 of the 1,189 visitors of the Cairo Tower survived.
Wow.
2 of the 15 staff members escaped to safety, including the building manager.
Oh, isn't that just
None
the way?
of the 6 security guards survived. Although paramedics and police officers had arrived shortly before the Cairo Tower's collapse, the visibly unstable tower prompted them to collect survivors on the ground and retreat to a safe distance. At 8:41 p.m., a hazardous waste collection team and soldiers of the Egyptian ground forces arrived to contain survivors within mobile quarantine chambers. Due to fears of a potential contagion contracted from the Suez Canal crab, all civilians in the vicinity were placed in quarantine under the authority of Egypt's military in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. Upon impact with the ground, the Suez Canal crab and the Ever Given separated. The large
Hazardous because the irradiated water at the bottom, yeah? No, it's just because it's a weird crab monster. Like, the irradiation of a major water supply line to Egypt, you know, a place with not a lot of that, you know, that fuck that, whatever, it's fine. But the crab, however, that's a problem. The radiation, dude, tasty. Crab juice, bad. Giant crab, bad. Are crabs not native there? I don't think that this is actually a crab, in that it's bigger than a boat, or at the size of a boat.
large wounds caused by the separation discharged thousands of gallons of seawater and bodily
Irradiated?
fluids. The hazardous waste collection team and soldiers attempted to plug the gushing lesions. However, survivors report that their efforts were mostly futile due to the team's inability to stay standing on the slippery ground. With the number of accidental falls among the troops on the increasingly wet ground, the Egyptian army diverted its focus from closing wounds on the Suez Canal crab to evacuation efforts. By midnight, the civilian population within a 3-mile radius of the fallen Cairo Tower had been completely evacuated. On the morning of April 17th, Egyptian authorities publicly announced that the Suez Canal crab had fallen in Cairo and laid in a vegetative state. Although the Cairo exclusion zone was primarily intended to prevent any media coverage of the crab and the surrounding destruction, several journalists managed to record footage of the site through the assistance of private helicopter pilots. By 8 a.m., clips of the crab were trending on Twitter. Members of the
Okay, it is pronounced Twitter.
Association attributed the severity of the disaster to the development of intelligent devices, specifically Twitter machines. They reasoned that due to the popularity of Twitter in America...
Wait. You're complaining about the collapse of humanity due to Twitter on Twitter. Actually, that checks out. Never mind. Go ahead.
The Ever Given was overstocked with T-machines, which weighed the ship down and consequently caused the initial obstruction of the Suez Canal. On Twitter, the ADA released a vicious string of messages criticizing Twitter, Hillary Clinton, and Egypt.
The same
Along with
ADA,
images
so
of the Suez
Anti-Dean
Canal
Association,
crab, photos of
Anti-Device
scattered goods
Association.
that had fallen out of the shipping containers became a popular topic of discussion.
I like how, like, so many things can change. Like, just straight up admitting angels and someone hijacked the freaking someone hijacked Air Force One, and the government was like, this just happens, I guess. There are like human sacrifices on the regular, but still, despite everything, despite the fact that they've banned computers, they've still reinvented Twitter, and it still sucks.
Discussion. One image of a sports car resting on top of debris would be retweeted by the ADA with the caption, "The Cairo exclusion zone is a conspiracy to keep goods in Egypt. The American people have been robbed." The tweet was shared by over 10 million users. Taking notice, the ADA followed up with tweets suggesting that an Egyptian soldier had driven home the sports car in the image, and that the goods needed to be rescued by their rightful owners. The ADA deemed April 19th as Finders Keepers Day and urged all Americans to travel to Egypt to obtain the goods left by the fallen Suez Canal crab. Overnight, an estimated 12,000 flights to Cairo were booked by American citizens.
Finders Keepers Day.
Although a few trespassers had been apprehended in the Cairo exclusion zone, officials did not foresee any further disruptions.
This is an Area 51 bit.
Medical personnel attended to survivors.
They
in
can't shoot
quarantine
all of
chambers.
us if we,
Soldiers
like,
cleared
Naruto
rubble
run
and
at it.
attempted to control the spread of the Suez Canal crab's bodily fluids. By 5 a.m. on April 19th, approximately 20 million gallons had been contained through aerial drops of sawdust and an extensive effort to mop the premises. Although several officials discussed a plan to lay down military-grade mats to enable the hazardous material collection team to walk up to the crab for closer analysis, it was ultimately decided that no further action would be taken until the following evening, as it was believed that the midday sun would evaporate most of the fluid.
Don't worry about it. It'll just evaporate.
At 12 p.m., over 12,000 Americans gathered in front of the gated entrance of the Cairo exclusion zone. 4,000
Americans are entitled shits in this universe as well. Just an aside.
Egyptian police officers and soldiers stood behind the perimeter to guard the exclusion zone from trespassers. At 12:00,
America is still like this, as is Twitter. Those two things will not change. You can change a lot about the universe, but Americans being shits and Twitter being awful, it's just, there you go.
3 p.m., violence erupted when an American shot a police officer in the face. Consequently, tear gas was used on the raging...
Would Americans actually be committed enough to fly over there, though? The American spirit is incredibly committed to do stupid things. Black Friday. Like, I've been hearing about Americans who have been flying to Ukraine to be involved as well. Like, I don't know how, if other countries are doing that. Like, are just random people showing up to Ukraine as well? Like, do other countries do this? Just random, not like trained soldiers or anything, but just like random fuckers. There's a subreddit dedicated to normal people becoming soldiers there. Okay. Apparently, yes, but many get turned away if they want to fight but don't have any military experience. And then you got, like, you know, obviously, like, January 6th, which people flew in from all parts of the country. Obviously, you don't need a passport to do that, but people flew in from everywhere to go to the Capitol. So, yeah, I think Americans would show up with the idea that they could get free shit. Yeah, I do. Americans are always at their most coordinated when organized when doing dumb shit. America is not very good at a lot of things. War is one thing we're really good at. Swinging our dick around like we own the place is another thing that we like to do. So, this doesn't seem too out of left field.
Mob. Tanks and heat rays arrived shortly afterwards to
Heat rays?
deter any trespassers. However, by 12:10 p.m., the front entrance gates of the Cairo exclusion zone collapsed from the force of the charging crowd. Informed
U.S. lost the last wars they tried. War on drugs, war on terror, war, Vietnam, Desert Storm. Yeah, I think you might have a point. Yeah, you might have a point. I'm trying to think of one that we've won in recent memory. The U.S. likes to declare war on concepts because concepts don't, like, finish easily, so they can finish once we're bored of doing it.
of the approaching Americans, medical personnel and survivors at the epicenter began to vacate the premises. By 12:43 p.m., the first American
The Confederate War? Okay, so you say the Confederate War, but I'll have you know that, like, some Americans did win that war. Just the Confederacy didn't. Like, that's how it works. Right? That was America versus America. They did get a win there. They did get a win. The one side did win. That's how it... Okay, so America did win and lose that. Okay, wait. World War II. We helped. We kind of... World War II, yeah, if you were throwing like a kill feed up for America, they definitely have one assist there. I would not call that like it was a team effort. That was an assist. I would not say that we won that one. But our wait. Hold up. American Wars. Okay. Okay, no, I don't want to know like casualty lists. I want to know like okay, 18th century. Okay, I want to go more recent. Okay. American intervention in Libya, 2015 to 2019. According to Wikipedia, ISIS in Libya largely defeated. So we're going to call that one a win. American-led intervention into Syria. It says ongoing. America-led intervention into Iraq. Are we calling that one a win? I'm sorry, who? What? What? Wait. The Iraq War is considered an inconclusive result, according to Wikipedia. Like, alright, Wikipedia. War in Afghanistan. Taliban victory, U.S. allied defeat. Okay, cool. Not cool that happened, but cool that, like, you know, we counted that. I was gonna say, like, what are we talking about? Oh. Okay, so I had some weird mic issues. Am I better now? That's really weird. That has not been an issue for the longest time. I've been restarting my computer, like turning it off. What did it sound like? Okay, 18th century. Okay, I want to go more Oh, wow, that's bad. Okay. That's awful. Not huge fan of this mic setup, but okay. Anyway, just yeah, no, you got a solid point. A lot of these are ongoing or inconclusive or defeat. There are some, okay, go for. Sure. The Bay of Pigs invasion. They want to call that a loss for us. I think that's fair. Okay. All right. All right. Am I still bug again? Like, am I a little insect again? Thank you for the 100 bits there. Lacune. And then Gear, thank you for the 100 bits. Okay, I'm good. Does the Cold War count? Kind of like scrolling through. It doesn't list the Cold War here, I don't think. I mean, I guess no shots were fired, hence that's how Cold Wars work. So, like, technically not a war? But we were just like, ooh, I oughta. Until it was over.
Americans were seen by officials at the epicenter. Although the wet ground was expected to significantly slow their approach, several citizens had arrived earlier than anticipated since they had utilized car hubcaps to fly quickly across the ground. With no law enforcement at the scene, the American citizens began to collect fallen goods and pry open shipping containers. Popular goods included furniture, firearms, processed food, tea machines, bars of gold, automobiles, and designer clothing. As Americans continued to arrive at the epicenter, more injuries from accidental falls were observed. Concussions and broken arms were the most common injuries during the initial break-in. At 1 p.m., several fights broke out over a Ford pickup truck that had rolled out from a container and crushed a family. 3 aggressors were shot by a man who had found a rifle. The conflict fueled an unpleasant atmosphere, with more instances of gun violence as time went on. One notable incident saw the discovery of a container of firearms by a group of young children. The accidental firing of an automatic weapon by one child prompted the intervention of their parents and other adults. The resulting verbal argument escalated quickly and broke out into a full-scale gunfight with over 14 armed subjects, including the children. Another fight erupted after the discovery of a deluxe barbecue grill, which 13 Americans had simultaneously called dibs on when the item was pulled out of a shipping container. All 13 Americans died from gun-related wounds. When the last wave of the 12,000 Americans had entered the epicenter, overcrowding ensured that the accidental fall of one individual would trigger a continuous series of additional falls. Without any open space for the midday sunlight to reach the wet ground, the bodily fluid had no time to evaporate, and the number of falls steadily increased. At around 1:30 p.m., one of the posterior legs of the Suez Canal crab twitched and incited panic in a nearby crowd. As Americans attempted to flee, many fell on the slippery ground and were trampled by those rushing behind them. By 1:33 p.m., the screams of the panicked crowd had reached a deafening volume, reportedly being heard over 5 miles away. Due to the reinforcement of the Cairo exclusion zone's gates and orders from the Ministry of Health to prevent any American citizen from leaving the exclusion zone, the massive crowds were kept inside the 3-mile radius of the epicenter, held in place by an orderly line of tanks that flanked the entirety of the zone's perimeter. The gates stood for over 6 hours as Americans ran from the epicenter. Many soldiers became ill at the sight of injuries caused by the thousands of bodies being crushed into the metal bars. By 7:15 p.m., everyone within a half-mile of the gate had perished from extreme pressure. Heat exhaustion, accidental falls, and gun violence were also major causes of death. The Cairo exclusion zone gates were opened at 8 p.m. Soldiers searched for the remaining survivors. Of the over 12,000 Americans who had arrived, only
Jesus,
944 survived. 77 of the American survivors were found kneeling around the Suez Canal crab and claimed to have been promised from a deity that they would survive if they prayed to the crab. However, none of them could account for the remains of dead worshippers that littered the ground around them. They would later establish the Church of the Ever Given during their stay at a local hospital. Howard Melrose, an American journalist permitted to visit the Cairo exclusion zone the day after the stampede, said of the site, "It looked like something from a medieval painting. All of their bodies were jammed into each other. Everyone became one."
Crab Church. World Heritage Site. Wow, great job, everybody. We all fucked up today. This is a creepypasta. Jesus Christ.
During a broadcast of ABC Evening News, anchor Frank Reynolds told viewers to be prepared for tomorrow and that they would witness the start of a glorious adventure. Word spread quickly throughout the country, and civilians invited friends and family to their homes in anticipation of the next day. Although no details of this glorious adventure were known, it was widely presumed to be another exciting TV announcement from President James Dean. Watching parties were organized in living rooms across America, and on the evening of May 13, 1969, after the ABC Evening News ended, televisions were closely watched with millions of unblinking eyes. No one wanted to miss what President Dean had to say.
He has really short broadcasts, so it is important to be there.
James Dean's America is hell. But you still don't believe us. You'll hear the truth.
Okay.
From James Dean himself.
That's a mood.
Immediately following the broadcast, air raid sirens activated across all 50 states. The sirens blared at a far greater volume than usual and burst the eardrums of every civilian within a 4-mile radius. The resulting panic triggered severe overcrowding at bomb shelters and deadly stampedes in the streets. Thousands were trampled and hospitals were overwhelmed within the hour.
Wow.
Fires broke out in all major cities, and cars left running in the streets produced lethal amounts of carbon monoxide, which flowed into poorly ventilated bomb shelters and suburban homes.
God.
In Washington, D.C., the White House was placed into lockdown immediately after the TV hijacking, and President Dean was rushed to a maximum security underground bunker. Able to hear the anguished screams of civilians in the streets above, Dean refused to stay in the shelter. When carbon monoxide alarms went off in the bunker, he urged his staff to exit the White House with him and shut off the vehicles left on the roadways.
What?
With a phone call, Dean mobilized the National Guard to assist with the deactivation of the millions of parked vehicles across America. Several more phone calls to high-ranking military officials and world leaders
Just turn off
revealed
the
that
cars,
no nuclear
man.
missiles had in fact been
What?
launched.
I can't hear anything. It's really loud. My
Soon
eardrums
realized that
burst.
The air raid sirens had been hijacked by a domestic organization and immediately ordered all forces of the military to disable every active siren in the nation. When military technicians arrived at the location of the sirens, they found that the bodies of prior technicians who had perished from
Wow.
the combination
What?
of stress and the siren's sheer volume piled so high as to have formed a ramp to the
It is actually possible to die from loud, which is pretty surprising. I learned about that recently. Did you know that whales are loud enough to cause like severe damage? Like you can die from whales. Not from like them running into you, but just them making sounds. They kind of sound like dolphins, but louder. They can just straight up loud you to death. If you're too close to one, they can even create like they can like paralyze you partially. So just yeah, why not? There's a boomer wife joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going. Yeah, I forget like how loud is a whale? Wait, why was whale fart? 180 decibels. Okay. How loud is a rock concert? Between 90 and 120. Jesus fuck. So it's like on up to like twice as loud as a concert. Whales are just fucking loud. Yeah, cause like I've been to concerts where it's like you feel the physical pressure of like the sound waves hitting you. I could see that, you know, like if you go to a concert, wear earplugs, obviously. So whales are twice as loud, so you could just straight up die from whale sounds. So think of that next time you're listening to whale sounds to go to sleep. This is death. This is death right there that you're listening to.
top of the speakers. The overcrowding of streets by civilians and unaccompanied cars frequently blocked the path of emergency vehicles and prolonged the process of disarming the sirens. Against his advisor's wishes, President Dean tasked himself with the deactivation of an air siren near the White House. Although he would accomplish the task fairly quickly, Dean sustained permanent ear damage and was rendered fully deaf. The sheer volume had also caused countless blood vessels in his...
I love that just James Dean just does shit, you know? Like, what was the other thing? Like, all the power lines went down, so he started literally helping himself. Also, yeah, his organs are in backwards, I guess.
Body to burst and produce several abdominal hernias. His condition was shared among the millions of other Americans who had been near the sirens at the time of their activation. 3 hours would pass before all air raid sirens would be fully disabled.
No, the Deanverse people, their organs are reversed.
The next morning, at the advice of federal authorities, civilians slowly made their way from the shelters back to their homes. Although some continued to stay in the shelters for fear of radioactive fallout, most accepted the explanation given by military officials over the radio. There is no nuclear holocaust. A domestic terrorist organization hijacked the sirens of America.
That's fine.
The streets were littered with bodies and automobiles. The National Guard handed out blindfolds to the young, sick, and elderly as they exited the shelters to prevent the scenes of bloodshed from causing fainting spells and heart attacks. At the Walt Disney Medical Center, physicians...
The what? Oh, that's a real thing? Okay.
examine President Dean and other members of his staff who helped disarm the sirens. All were diagnosed with severe hearing loss.
I think it's meant for like first aid. It's not like a real, like, if you get hurt at Walt Disney World or something, I think that they have like their own. Is that what that's saying? No. Does Disneyland have a underground hospital? They're not technically underground. Okay, cool. So they have like a sort of like hospital staging area to help you if you get hurt there.
Against his doctor's advice, Dean insisted on issuing a public statement on the traumatic events that had transpired. Although he initially wanted to appear on live television, a glance at the mirror discouraged him, as he saw the countless bruises and tears present on his skin due to the intensity of the sirens. In coordination...
Wait, what was that?
Although he initially wanted to appear on live television, a glance at the mirror discouraged him, as he saw the countless bruises and tears present on his skin due to the intensity of the sirens.
He got almost lauded to death.
Coordination with technicians from the Department of Defense, President Dean instead organized a large-scale radio broadcast, utilizing the very air raids.
Wait, how did you do that when you were deaf? What? What is happening?
Sirens they had disabled. Later that night,
It's not JFK, that's James Dean.
bruised Frank Reynolds would announce on ABC Evening News that Dean
He
would
could
speak
Do you know how hard it is to talk when you can't hear what you're saying? Super hard.
through the sirens, and that captions would be displayed simultaneously on television for viewers who were hard of hearing.
Why is it so loud? Is it ever explained why they have such fucking loud sirens everywhere? No. No, that's a good point. That's weird that they have that. How do you modify that many?
It's Jimmy speaking. I'm sorry, very sorry for what's come to pass. I wish I could bring back your friends, your family. I want to fix everything. This is not the announcement I planned for. But as you know, there are people who have it in for us. The Anti-Dean Association. They hijack our systems. They hurt people. The Anti-Dean Association is an anti-American association. I want you to keep an eye out for them. They will not be hard to find because they are very proud of their silly ideas. Find them and bring them to your local authorities. We'll make things right. We have places for people like them. This is Jimmy, signing off.
James Dean having a very
Over
normal
the next
one.
week, hundreds of thousands of anti-Deaners would be apprehended and sent to correctional facilities around the United States.
Correctional facilities.
These facilities, meant for the anti-American, were aptly located near or at national monuments in order to symbolize a return to American virtues.
Now hold up. Now hold up. So people who were deemed to be anti-American were brought to the monuments. Now hold up now.
Most would stay for merely a few weeks before being released again. Friends and family of rehabilitated anti-Deaners frequently claimed that they would have improved personalities, no recollection of their past criminal activities, and even slightly altered physical appearances.
So wait, so they just yeeted them into our universe to switch them out? For the version from our universe that doesn't hate James Dean for no reason? Because, I mean, I'm starting to... I'm a little sussy at James Dean at this point, man. Like, are y'all with me on this one, or am I, like, insane? Like, that's weird, right? Like, James Dean's kind of fucking weird, right?
These methods were so effective in calming the terrorist that many innocent civilians requested themselves to be sent to these facilities in hopes of radically.
Okay.
Changing their lives. However, federal authorities would deny any admission to those who were not affiliated with the ADA. During one address, President Dean acknowledged the high volume of requests from the public.
Yeah, I think I just joined the Anti-Dean Association. Throw me into the fucking Washington Monument.
Hey, it's Jimmy again. A lot of you want to be sent to the same places we're sending those anti-Deaners to. I get it. Those who come out of these places, they look clean as a whistle. But if we send you to those places too, then those correctional facilities lose their purpose. If we send everyone to prison, then what's a prison anymore? This is Jimmy signing off.
Yeah, we're not gonna send you to prison, guys.
On the morning of May 22nd,
Also, yeah, what was that
9 days
weird
after
echo?
If we send everyone to prison, then what's a prison anymore? This is Jimmy signing off.
On the morning of May 22nd, 9 days after the disaster, President Dean received a state-of-the-art hearing implant from Maze Machines, an up-and-coming tech company. Around noon at the Walt Disney Medical Center, the device was surgically inserted into Dean. The sound quality of the implant and the speedy nature of the surgery
Just gonna do a poll in
inspired
chat.
Dean to imagine a new government department, which would be able to oversee the mass production and distribution of quality hearing implants to the American public. That evening, President Dean requested an emergency session of Congress and proposed the ambitious project.
He kind of just looks like Bill Clinton to some degree.
I can't hear a damn thing. Did you hear me? I can't hear a damn thing. Neither can you, or you, or you, or you. It doesn't matter whether you were near the sirens or not. None of you are listening. We need to bring together those technology companies to build and send hearing devices that the public needs. Hearing devices that you yourself need. And through a collaboration with the Department of Health, we can give back to the people what our failures took away. We can let a mother hear her child laugh again. And let a man hear his dog again.
He doesn't need to hear his
Give
wife.
everyone their hearing again. And who's stopping you? Listen to the public. You're all about deadlines too. So here's one. By July 4th, I want every American to hear the fireworks.
Due to a malfunction in his auditory implants, Dean was unable to hear himself and as a result spoke much louder on the Senate floor than on previous occasions. The volume of his speech, which greatly amplified his compassion for the American people, profoundly affected the senators, and in the early hours of May 23, 1969, after 10 hours of discussion, the Department of Technology was approved. It was the fastest an executive department had ever been established. By May 27th, all persons with hearing loss attributed to the anti-Dean disaster
Chat,
would be
with
eligible
56% of the votes says they trust President
hearing
Dean.
device free of charge. Mass
I've
operating
notified the
rooms
government
would be established.
of the 45 or 44% of you that do not, and you will be sent to re-education centers where you will begin to trust James Dean again.
Throughout the U.S., able to house over 1,000 patients at once.
Lacuna, thank you for the
use
6
of
bits. I
surgical
missed the
androids
context. I'm
was
very
approved
sorry.
on June 6th, which increased the number of surgeries performed per day over 250%.
Wait, what?
Once all the fastest to the anti-Dean disaster would be eligible for the surgical implantation of a hearing device free of charge. Mass operating rooms would be established throughout the U.S., able to house over 1,000 patients at once. The use of surgical androids was approved on June 6, which increased the number of surgeries performed per day over 250%. Once all victims had been treated, those with deafness unrelated to the disaster also became eligible for the surgery. On July 4th, it was announced that there was no incidence of severe hearing loss in the country.
Wait. Like, Helen Keller wasn't just deaf, right? So we just bothered to fix deafness, which, like, this is something I bring up anytime, like, it comes up, just because I feel like it's a weird spot for a lot of people, because I think if you're born hearing, or you currently are able to hear things, you're of the assumption that deaf people want to hear, which is kind of the assumption that I had. You would assume that that's like part of it, but something that I learned when I was going through, and learning American Sign Language is that some people who are born deaf don't want, like, it. My teacher was like, he told everyone, who's like, if I could be given a pill that would cure my hearing, I would not take it. No side effects to, taking it, all that, would not take the pill. So, like, you would expect that, like, but I mean, if I lost my hearing right now, I'd want it back. I don't know if he's forcing people to get cured. I don't know if that's what they're implying. I think they're just saying you're eligible now that we've fixed everyone from the disaster. I'd imagine it's like, okay, what if you could, like, smell with your feet? Like, what if that was just, like, a normal thing that people could do, and you were just born without the ability to do that? And then they're like, oh, there's a new surgery that you can do to get that ability. Like, I wouldn't have it. It's weird, Read the description of the pinned comment. Out of respect for deaf culture, the surgical procedures developed under the Dean administration were optional for all Americans. However, acute social pressure compelled nearly every citizen with deafness to accept the medical treatment. Okay. Those against the treatment were fully ostracized from society, and some were even harassed into fleeing the country. What do you think of President James Dean and the Great Siren Disaster? Share your thoughts on Twitter. Corn.
The United States was the first nation in the world to eradicate deafness. The achievement had been expected for some time since its first mention during Dean's congressional address. In
Being deaf is a
preparation,
stigma
many
in their
health
universe because it's like, why don't you want to get back at the terrorists? You know? Like, why don't you want to do you want to stop the bad guys from doing the thing? Wait, eliminating deafness was wait, what?
On July 4th, it was announced that there was no incidence of severe hearing loss in the country. The United States was the first nation in the world to eradicate deafness. The achievement had been expected for some time since its first mention during Dean's congressional address. In preparation...
Oh, they mean when he said that, not like it wasn't a promise or anything. July 4th, I want every American to hear the fireworks. That's not sus. He's just... Okay, it's sus for a different reason. It's not sus because he didn't call it in advance.
Many health organizations, both domestic and international, had prepared to host banquets for Dean and grant awards to him and his staff. However, President Dean spent the entirety of Independence Day racing cars with close friend Richard Nixon at a local speedway. Though many would cite the recovery from the anti-Dean disaster as James Dean's finest hour, the president was never willing to accept responsibility.
All we did was fix some ears.
I'm surprised. Okay, so not only did they hijack the radio waves or the TV waves, whatever, but they also, around the nation, were first off, this is the same universe where Alcatraz just runs around and like absorbs half of America. This is also the same universe where the Suez Canal was gummed up by a crab, and they decided to nuke it clear. This is the same. So to say that like terrorists were able to, in an act of revenge against the president, they not only got control over the TV stations and were able, like, what was his original announcement gonna be? Like, he announced that everyone needs to be like available to like listen to TV. And then like what was the original announcement supposed to be? Lol balls got him. Hey, this is Jim. This is Jimmy. You know who likes listening to me too? Your mom. All right, bye, y'all. I'm curious what his original announcement was. Like, because he announced that there was going to be an announcement. Then instead of the regular scheduled announcement, it was some other bullshit. This is tinfoil. Listen, tinfoil hat on. I will go super conspiracy in fake Dean land. He didn't say that. The TV dude did. So the TV dude did, but like the government wasn't like, nah, no, we don't actually have anything announced. What are you talking about? Like, so it was. It could be a plot by the government to have people fed to the monuments and to make Dean look good by eradicating deafness. Like, I feel like the Dean administration was in on it. Because the ability to set this whole thing up is, I mean, this is like standard conspiracy theory thing. Like, how did this bad thing happen at such a big level? It must have been a conspiracy. Maybe it wasn't, but like I'm just saying, like all this seems real sus, right? Plus the whole innocent civilians volunteering themselves. It feels weird, man. Do we know the reason why they were feeding people to the monuments? No. Yeah, why did the government build sirens that loud? Like, it's not just like they use the sirens. The sirens in... Why would you ever build a siren that loud? Why would you make that? Like, what is that? Like, they surely can't be that loud by default, right? Because it's not just that they were loud, but, like, they were super loud. Like, you can't just make that on accident, right? Like, that had to... All of them had to... Because it's funny. I mean, honestly, like, who knows at this point? Maybe it's just memes. Like, maybe it is just fucking around. Like, fuck it. You know? But why would you build that? I don't trust Dean at all, man. They have siren memes because they don't have computer memes. Making my way downtown, walking fast and homebound.
Egypt was entirely against excavation. They had every right to be upset when we went ahead with it anyway. They said that their system worked for thousands of years and continued to protect the country. It's right. At the time, the president and our military did not care. They viewed their solution as a problem and desperately needed a better solution. American solution. Which in this case was excavation.
We're watching The Monument Mythos, a horror series on YouTube. Yeet. We leaving?
Once the pyramids were classified as CFMDs by the U.S., excavation was inevitable. CFMDs have been acknowledged by the UN Security Council as the single most dangerous threat to humanity. Of course, this was before climate change and mankind was classified as CFMDs.
Wait, what?
And they were doing it.
This was before climate change and mankind were defined as TMFDs. Okay.
At the time, it meant that the pyramids required immediate action.
What's a TMFD? It defined it in that last thing. A true force of mass destruction. Well, they don't have good computers. They may have problems, like getting good audio. I mean, I can't say shit. Like, my mic was just doing that weird cicada thing a minute ago, so who knows?
The ancient pharaohs personally appointed workers to guard it, with some years of their lives striking the trees. They were equipped with the finest music glass balloons, which would substitute to inhale muscle fatigue and induce insomnia, so they would be able to hit the trees for several nights in a row.
Okay, so they're using Giza glass to chop down trees? This audio is recovered from an arson scene. Remember that for later. Okay.
Cut down any of the trees, of course. That won't be possible until 1945. Rather, the intention was to shift the tree's focus from upward growth to internal repairs.
I mean, this just sounds like my mic half the time anyway.
But by prolonging their growth, the Egyptians bought themselves time to build enormous towers that would better contain the trees.
Okay. We've gotten back to not being able to point our camera at something effectively. Is it pooping? What? Oh, shit. What?
Within the first week of excavation, we found the pyramids extending much deeper into the sand than we had previously thought. The more we dug, the more bricks we had found had already been laid. At the time, we had convinced ourselves that the pyramids had to be within a structure. It would only be a matter of time before we would reach the bottom. By the third week, we realized that we had been wrong the whole time. The pyramids expanded out excellently. You can imagine our reluctance to tell the public that the pyramids were not pyramids at all. They were towers, infinite towers, all three of them. Towers which contain enormous species of metaphysical flora. Who knew that the pyramids were
Okay.
of buildings?
Lukune, thank you for the 100 bits there. That's very kind of you. It's just the cicada thing was just the Dean verse crossing over into ours. So the pyramids are just the tips of buildings, I guess. Which is, yeah, the Washington Monument. But the obelisks in the Washington Monument is meant to look like the obelisk, right? Well, we fucked it up. I blame the Americans. Video affected by radiation. How are you filming this? Computers are illegal. I wonder if whoever made this actually had to, like, fly to all of these places, like Egypt and stuff. Or if they just found videos on the internet to use. Twitter machines. Twitter machines can capture footage? Camcorders aren't illegal anymore. No internet, no YouTube. No internet. No porn. Dude. The internet wouldn't have gotten as far as it did without porn. It's not even a hot take, that's just the way it is. Right, because things wake up when you irradiate them. That's how it go. That's what happened to Alcatraz. And maybe the Suez Canal crab. The backstory of this YouTube channel is it's found footage from another universe. Okay. Long. Wait, aren't there only supposed to be 4? Wait, how many are there? What? That's a lot of them. Oh, what the fuck? Why that? That's more than they said 3, right? That's produced by the Anti-Device Association, who I assume is also the Anti-Dean Association because it's the same acronym. music. I can't really dance a lot because there's not a lot of like room here. Eldritch Warriors just vibing. Get stick bugged. What's happening? Like, what actually is happening right now? Dr. Disturbing.
Throughout the 19th century, English archaeologists in Egypt encountered stories, time and again, of mysterious lightning strikes near the Great Pyramids of Giza. It was reported that the lightning would strike only in the presence of certain rare constellations. However, no one outside of the Bedouin tribes knew of which constellations. The secrecy protected the value of Giza glass, a mineral created by the strange lightning striking the desert sand. The glass also served as a form of black market currency for several tribes. For decades, the Bedouins' knowledge eluded British archaeologists. For as long as the constellations remained unknown, the Giza glass that formed was retrieved by the Bedouins long before anyone else arrived. However, in the late 1870s, British Egyptologist Flinders Petrie discovered the constellation which preceded the electrical phenomenon. In 1880, he arranged an expedition to collect samples of Giza glass for the British Museum.
Flinders, a normal
Petrie
name for normal
accurately
people.
predicted the appearance of Giza glass, and with the help of British troops, secured the location of the glass for
That's a lot of guns.
The glass, which formed in long, multi-layered sheets, was fractured in order to be more easily transported. While collecting fragments, Petrie
I
slipped
think this
and
one was
landed
recommended
on an
to me,
upright
this
plane of
series.
Giza glass. The force of the fall, combined with the sharpness of the material, decapitated Petrie immediately.
It's
While
no longer
British
Alex
troops at the
Kansas.
scene
It's
quickly
now
assumed Petrie had been killed, a closer inspection revealed that he was still alive.
Mr. Manticore. He
Although
changed his
his head
channel
was
name.
separated from his body, Petrie remained conscious and could even mouth rudimentary words.
We already knew this,
Medical
right?
Personnel were initially relieved Petrie had somehow survived, but they became concerned when his head began to discolor and swell significantly. But the fate of Flinders Petrie is a tale for another day. Petrie's lot, as his collection of Giza glass came to be known, arrived in England in 1891. Unfortunately, due to the poor handling of its containers during transit, the glass arrived broken into thin shards and was deemed worthless by museum curators.
Okay.
Yet, as a token of international diplomacy, the British Museum divided Petrie's lot among visiting American ambassadors. Vaguely aware of Giza glass's odd properties, President John D. Rockefeller ordered the immediate confiscation of the material from the American ambassadors. Although many in his administration were eager to see the glass be used in warfare, President Rockefeller refused to authorize military use and instead discussed other possible applications with the head of the Department of the Interior.
They did steal.
After numerous conferences,
That's a
it
katana.
was settled that segments of Giza glass would be polished into fine blades and given to a select group of Greco-Egyptian swordsmen.
Fucking why? So, the British did a British thing. They went over and they stole some shit from Egypt. And then they took it and then they shipped it wrong and it broke. And they're like, fuck, I guess we can give it to the Americans? Is that what's happening?
These unusually tall swordsmen were assigned to the Grand Canyon and guarded restricted areas from trespassers. Protected under federal law, the Grand Canyon Guardians continued to serve for decades until the last member was discontinued. All trespassers who were maimed by the Guardians were promised a lifetime's worth of a special concoction which controlled unwanted side effects. However, since the medication's efficacy decreased over time, older victims were promised housing within the Grand Canyon to guarantee their safety and privacy from the outside world, but only under the condition that they would lure known dangerous persons wanted by the federal government to the forbidden zones of the national park.
What? We'll keep giving you your meds, assuming that you take people. That's fucked up and weird, right? Not just for our universe? Was a sort of freedom. I don't know. But I think it's very likely that it's one of these guardians. Yeah.
Thomas odiava l'America. È andato a Roma quando era 21 anni.
Oh, okay. He went to Rome when he was 21, and he was amused by that slaveholding Americans wanted to make a statue named Freedom. At first, Thomas didn't want to help them, but then he realized that the statue could be a symbol for others. He gave the statue a liberty cap, something that freed the Roman slaves wore. He thought that a 20-foot statue of a liberated woman stand on the Capitol dome, perhaps men would be less ignorant. You can imagine how disappointed he was when Mr. Davis from Washington then told him to take the cap off of Freedom. But Thomas saw his project through the end. He even went to Egypt to find better material for her sword. A very special type of glass, Giza glass. One time, he was sharpening the glass in the workshop and he accidentally cut off the tip of his finger. Although I was worried when he told me, he couldn't stop laughing. Normal. He told me that the glass was so sharp that the tip of his finger just slipped off without pain or blood. Yet he could still feel it. When Thomas concentrated, he could even make his fingertip twitch on the table. He found it funny, I didn't. I remembered when he came home one night without a hand. He said he could still move it in the workshop. He was so young when he left. He was only 43 years old. I wish we had spent more time together. We loved each other very much. Is this good Italian? No, this isn't Italian. Italian goes beep, 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 beep. We already addressed this. This is not Italian. This is like French or Japanese or something. I don't know. It's Japanese, right? Okay, cool. It's good Italian right there. It's Korean? Oh, fuck. Okay, sorry. You can imagine my surprise when I looked into the plaster's model's mouth. He made me think there was a serial killer in town. Nobody murdered him. Thomas cut up his own body and put himself inside of Freedom. Just normal French people shit. Saw him inside, all of him. I knew what had happened, but seeing his eyes in her face was too much for me. She looked so awake. Just stuff himself in. He told the Americans that Thomas passed away. I think he found out the truth since then. Gibraltar police thought I would be devastated to hear Nina's skin was found in the cave, but I was relieved. Thomas must have pulled her into the statue with him. Inside Freedom, Thomas and Nina are protecting America. She was acting normal for a minute. Like, that's fucked up. My husband is, like, cut up and, you know, stuffed inside of a statue. That is weird. That is weird. Why are you chill with that now? Copium? Fair enough. Following the broadcast of the controversial Delaware Double report, Delaware River Journal was shut down by federal authorities. However, secondary organization, the New Delaware Journal, continued operations.
Freedom has a new home. Following the ADA storming of the Capitol on January 6th, numerous organizations expressed interest in purchasing the Statue of Freedom. The statue, which fell during the riot, impacted over 150 casualties, was seen by reactionary politicians as a result of poor craftsmanship, and blamed her original installer, Phil Reed, for her collapse.
Uncle Zeebs, thank you for the 7 months of support. What are we doing? We're watching, we're watching the Monument Mythos. It's a horror comedy series. I want to call it comedy as well because it's just legitimately funny repetitively.
ADA. Due to growing reluctance to reinstall the Statue of Freedom, the Department of the Interior has instead transferred Freedom to an undisclosed location in the Grand Canyon.
All of Twitch is doing that hiccuping thing. So the cicada thing wasn't me this time. Streams just literally die. If I end up dying, I'll try and come back as soon as possible. Let me know if we have a problem. Attract and extinguish ADA members and other curious persons. Taylor P. Manning. Franklin B. Carr. And it's just going around like, you are already dead. Slicing heads. This will be you since you're an anti-Diener. I am, dude. It's clear there's some bullshit going on. I mean, they're not dead. They just have their heads cut off. This could be you. It would be. Maya Arnoldson. Wait, that's... Isn't that... What's his name from the Squirrel Videos sister? Was covered by the park rangers at the Grand Canyon, right? Viewer discretion is advised. All right. Aunt? She's a Lincoln looker too. Squirrel Video and Lincoln Watchers. Yeah, it'd be great if some people like learned how cameras worked in this universe. Like remove lens caps, point things.
No, not now. I'm leaving now. I won't bother you.
Normal and fine and good and happy. In 2004, park rangers discovered Maya Arnoldson's headless body. As of 2021, her head remains missing. Isn't it just like floating around? Didn't we see it before? I don't know what part of the... I mean, like, he could control his hand back in the workshop, so why not? Yeah, Canyon Crown. Big old flying head. Well, you get some real food in me. I had like 2 pieces of toast and I goblin feasted today. You need vinegar to control the swelling. I love how shit the that is. Like basic Arial fonts. Mr. Squirrel! Woo! Yeah! Let's go, he's back. Fucking Pog. He is beautiful. Early YouTube crust. What? I didn't experience a stream crash as far as I'm aware. Chad has been chatting this whole time. You guys see something in the sky? Oh, there we go. What? Squirrel? Oh, okay. Floating head outside? Jump scare? That's a big nope for me. Oh, another one. There are no jump scares in this series. Can't believe it's been 3 days already. Nathaniel Arnoldson, 1961 to 2021. Eric Costanzas, Fallen Father.
In its hangar. I was astounded by its immensity until I saw my own name printed on its side. At that moment, an entirely new feeling unveiled within me. It was an emotion which frequented me in childhood, a blend of revulsion and satisfaction that had followed the execution of a cruel jest on a friend or a stranger. A pin in one's foot, a tumble down a stairwell. What would others think? I thought to myself at the sight of a foreign airship bearing the name of the American president dropping explosives upon cities of unarmed civilians. I wish to say that revulsion was my sole reaction to this invention, yet I cannot deny that I was proud of this magnificent vehicle.
Real Rockefeller moments.
It was perhaps the greatest war machine ever developed by mankind, made possible by yours truly. By nightfall, shame outweighed pride, and I requested the immediate removal of my name from the airship.
I mean, they're really good
all
balloons,
its future
but,
successors.
you know.
Although the Germans complied, they continued to refer to their airships as Rockefellers.
They do bomb civilians, so I don't know if I want my name
would
on
not
it.
obscure the facts for very long. It was inevitable that the American public would one day become aware of my secret dealings
Balloons,
in Germany.
blimps, Moabs. Sure. He helped the Nazis a little bit, yeah. It's wild to me that how much of a balloon is not, or a Zeppelin is like not right, like you can't be in it. It's just like the little bit under it. Ah, okay. It's filled with
It had
heads.
always been my intention to reinvigorate the American economy. Once I had been debriefed of the situation in the Grand Canyon, the overpopulation of crowns, I realized that I was also hearing the beginnings of a solution to the impending economic collapse. That solution being slavery.
Okay. Let me just real quick, if your solution to a problem is slavery, you've probably fucked up somewhere prior to this point. I'm just saying. It's no, don't pog that, Rev Pogbot. That's weird. Pogbot, bad bot, no.
I can imagine your reluctance to read on, and I entirely understand. Rest assured, I believe that all citizens should be unconditionally promised the very freedoms that our country established at its founding: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. However, crowns are not men or women.
So, if we just don't define them as human, then it's totally chill to use them as slaves. This has literally never been a problem prior to now. Like it's always been super cool and normal for when you literally dehumanize someone. That has always been fine in history. Just call them something else. It's totally fine.
Nor are they animals. They are merely...
A crown, for anyone who's not following along, is someone who was, as far as the reference that we start getting them is with the Giza Guardians, which had Giza glass blades that they'd use to cut off people's heads, specifically criminals, and probably anti-Dean Association people who, when you get your head cut off by it, unless if you have a ongoing treatment of vinegar, your head swells. Trespassers at first, and then probably anti-Dean Association people as well. They definitely did some of that as well. Criminals, right? People that the government didn't like, you know, standard government shit. And so they'd cut off their head, and then when they cut off their head, it made, like, you didn't die from it. Your head would swell to huge sizes, and then they're like, let's just jam a bunch of those into a Zeppelin. Just shove it into a Zeppelin. All right, now what do we do now? I guess we sell them to the Germans so they can use it to bomb people, innocent civilians. As you do. And he's like, okay, like, I want America to be based on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all of humankind. But they're not, but crowns aren't human, so it's fine. It's okay. We can force them into slavery. This is what one would call a bruh moment. This is a bit of a like bruh.
The decayed shells of ignoble criminals. They do not qualify for the same freedoms exercised by ordinary civilians. Once they were conditioned and bound together, the crowns became the perfect workforce.
You'd hate the Warhammer universe. No, okay, so minor Warhammer, like, aside, everyone sucks in that universe, but I'm okay with that. Like, I hate Rockefeller because he sucks. I hate the Emperor of Mankind because he sucks.
Well, for they could not speak. They could
I
not
enjoy
lead.
both of these universes for what they are.
And best of all, the crowns were incapable of forming unions.
Luckily, they can't form unions, so it's fine. It's a little, yeah, it's right. It's a little bit on the nose there, all right? Good thing we want them to gain rights. Rockefeller having a Rockefeller moment every single time a union is brought up. Luckily, they can't do anything about it. Lamp. I love lamp. Lamp holder, sure. What is the lens supposed to be? You're just gonna make a creepy noise at us and not tell us thanks.
Germany was the first nation to inquire about the crowns and their potential applications in warfare. I never mentioned the vast quantities of geyser glass we owned, since I knew that it could provide them with many more crowns at low cost.
We don't want them to figure out how we manufacture our slaves so they don't undercut us on slaves.
Instead, after signing several agreements and receiving a tremendous German sum, I provided them with over 100 crowns, along with my best advisors and the brightest engineers. Our time with the Germans gave rise to the greatest military vehicles in history, the Rockefellers. Germany's growing demand for men and crowns to construct
I think this is supposed to be a World War I.
Revitalized the American economy. Very few nations offered to hire as many of our men and women, and none would have paid as graciously as Germans did. It was, by all accounts, the greatest and most sustainable partnership of recent times. I could not have foreseen the destruction those airships would eventually inflict to the very nation that provided them. I
Wow, you
thought
fucked up.
that their creation would unite Germany and America. I could not have predicted that by 1918, Rockefeller bombing raids would have killed thousands of American and European soldiers.
Good job.
My
Doomsday
terms
Dingo, thank
were
you for the 2
over
months of support.
Before I could take action against the Germans, it was the administration after my own which was tasked with the seemingly impossible mission of destroying the Rockefellers while preserving the reputation of the former...
I designed the ultimate weapon and then I gave it to someone else and they used it on us. Pikachu shocked face. Like you didn't predict this?
President. Although they knew of my dealings in Germany,
Who could have foreseen
and
these
had
consequences?
every opportunity to expose me, they chose not to, for in their eyes, no good could come of it. However, I knew it was only a matter of time before
Still not high up on his concern list that he's using slaves for this, or that civilians are dying. He's like, people will know that I did these things.
I would become the laughingstock of my country. As the war drew to a close, I often found myself in a daze, envisioning my assassination on the streets of New York, or, more likely, on the steps of my very own center. However, it would be years before my visions would acquire any plausibility. President Hughes did a fine job of eliminating every Rockefeller while concealing my involvement.
Good job. Not to scale. Okay. So you put one of the death lasers on top of the pyramid. No, I got it. The pyramid has to have a massive tree in it. Yeah, so they're concentrating the lasers or the tree with the lamp.
Now, the news of my involvement in the Great War has become widely known. Thankfully, information on the crowns has continued to stay hidden from the public spotlight. I would much rather have the public believe that Germans were the only persons inside when the airships were shot down and crashed in flames. With the tragedy at the center, and now the airship scandal, known by many as the Rockefeller Revelation, I believe that my failures have finally caught up to me. There are men outside the center who had once been my supporters. Now, they want me executed. The policemen have kept the crowd at bay, though I believe that my assassination is, like the Revelation, inevitable. To be elected the president of a country is the greatest honor a people can bestow. But at the moment, I do wish to be the famous oil tycoon that young Virginia Arnoldson believed I was. Forgive me.
Disintegration. The men divide into microscopic parts. Oh, okay. Ambulation. Semi-conscious and unstable remains, the men traverse the desert in an attempt to better understand their condition. Okay. The men fuse together into a more stable being. Okay. Sounds gay, but alright. Ah, okay, cool. With your powers combined, I'm one dude. As one, the men return to their homeland. The men, that's one dude. That's one guy. One guide. Shoot down a Zeppelin through the power of one guy. It's him, the one guy. The men execute a counterattack. I'm sorry? Oh, that was supposed to be America. The one guy. Okay. Rockefeller was assassinated, we assume here. Investigators found that the door of the bunker had been melted open with possibly the most powerful heat ray ever built. To this day, Rockefeller Foundation considers the president's disappearance as an abduction. Got lasered. Only 2 photos of potential subject were ever released. Okay. The fucked up tree. And the Christmas fucked up tree. Can you see them? The fucked up tree on the left? What's this, an ARG? It does have ARG elements, but I am not together to get it. Did you see it? I got nothing. Oh, yeah, I guess there's a fella there? Like behind the car? Sure. Alright. Can someone explain to me what we're watching? We're watching the Monument Mythos. It's a horror series. This is season 2 of it. It's on YouTube. Just search Monument Mythos and you should be able to find it. It used to be through Alex Kansas was the name of the channel, but now it's Mr. Manticore. How many seasons are there? Currently 2, but it looks like there's 2 other things on the channel that are associated. I don't know how they work. Okay. So they tried to lobotomize her. That's...
When I was little, something went wrong with me. And everything switched. Even my parents.
How do you fail to do a lobotomy?
Did not like
You forget where the brain is? She's like, ah, shit, that was a foot.
So, I was left at an orphanage. Some of my friends were better off, but many were left at the orphanage too. We loved each other. We stuck together until we were 18, when we were separated. The military took the boys, and the doctors took the girls.
Oh, our organs aren't... Wait, no, hold up. Our organs aren't on the same side as people in the Monument Mythos. So, I get what you're saying, but also brains... That's not how brains work. They're kind of just, you know, here. It's not like... You kind of just, like, to lobotomize someone, you just kind of, like, jam up in there until you stop thinking right. And then it's like, well, we've done it. Yeah, lobotomies are just generally, like, brain damage, right? Like, just give it a good stabbing, and then there you go, right? Like, it's junk science, right? It's controlled stabbings in the brain. Pogbot, no, come on now, guy. The slavery, now the lobotomies, like... My dude. So I don't think they could, like, miss. I think if your brain was... Okay. I'm gonna Google it so you don't have to. So they go after the frontal lobe. So, like... They kind of just shove a thing up your nose. Into your brain. And go, wheelie, 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 wheelie. Goes to the eye socket. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was misunderstanding this diagram. I hate it. Thanks. I don't... My point is, it's like the front of the brain, even if you switch it, like that's not gonna... If you put it... What if their brains are put in backwards? But they're not, because we've seen... You can't miss the front part of the brain when you're just stabbing generally up there, right? I don't think that would change much. Like, maybe if their brains were in backwards, but they're sideways, right? Or maybe it's all backwards, but, like, the heart is on the opposite side. And, like, the lungs are on opposite sides, whatever that matter. Like... Would you be able to recognize if your left lung wasn't your left lung, but it was your right lung? Like, what? Like... There's a target area the size of a walnut that won't paralyze the patient. Yeah, I hate this. Yeah, I hate this. Confirmed.
Remember when the tree changed me, I was not scared. At first,
I don't think you can miss. Your right and your left lung are different. Aside from being like...
I was reminded of a story my mom told me.
Facing the other way, like, do they function in ways that are, like, unique? Like, does your right lung do something that your left lung doesn't? Like, they're kind of like... They kind of do the same job, right?
And above those, there were upright trees, like they were being reflected forever. The pattern repeated for as far as I could see. I looked down, and I thought I was on solid ground. But when I looked more closely, I was sitting on a thin, floating layer of dust. It smelled like baby powder.
The left lung always tells the truth, the right lung always tells lies.
I could see the start of another tree. And below that one, there was another and another, an infinity of trees.
Okay.
While I played with the dust, I heard distant footsteps. They grew louder and louder. Then there were bright flashes of light all around me. Out from these lights, hundreds of people ran out. One man came up to me and whispered, "The trees are not the trees." He had such sad, tired eyes. As he picked me up and put me on his shoulders, he said, "You could be her. Anyone could be her. I promise I will not leave."
Okay.
There was a bright flash, and we were in another field. He was sitting in front of me with his hand out. Another flash, and
The
we were
baby
both
powder?
running
So the
past
dust is so you
the
can
woods.
figure out where the ground is?
Another flash, and we were both lying on the ground, looking at infinity. Every few seconds there was a flash, and we would be doing something else. Again, and again, and again. Over and over and over. It would not stop. It felt like forever. Years of flashes. I was so angry at first. But soon I had those sad, tired eyes of his too. We were so sad and tired. Every now and then we would flash to another layer of dust. Above or below, But we would always see the climbers. I think there were people who tried to climb the trees while they were flashed around. They were stretched and burnt.
Ah.
Maybe the dust was the people that fell. The man was always with me. He kept me safe the whole time.
I mean, climbing the trees
It
seems like a
took
decent
years,
guess on how to get out.
but like 500 years. I named him Everett. He was always there. He never left me. Everett was my best friend. Then on one random day, one random time, all the trees bent, and a flash brought me back to New York. All my friends were around me, but this was another New York. I did something wrong, and I lost Everett. I ruined everything. I should have stayed home that night. Why did I not stay home? I lost everything. For me and my friends, I ruined their lives. I will not tell you about the orphanage. It was a hard time. I will keep memories of the orphanage to myself. They do not matter to you. When I was 18, I left the orphanage. I looked for my new parents. They were not together anymore. My new pa died from a broken heart, and my new ma lived all by herself. She did not let anyone into her house anymore. All because of me. I wanted my old parents back. I went to the Rockefeller Center for an answer. The tree stood at the top of the plaza, above everyone else. I was never supposed to visit again, but I did, and I spoke to her. At first, I could not understand her. Her voice was like a breeze behind my eyes. It was cold, and I could not move. But soon, I could understand. She said that I had to be ready to exchange one life for my own. She understood that I wanted to go back home, to my New York. She said, come back in 3 years. And I did. I waited. 1,095 days. I returned 3 years later.
So I had 3
At
years, I
first,
guess, on the spot.
I could not understand her. Her voice was like a breeze behind my eyes. It was cold, and I could not move. But eventually, I could understand. She
Trees
said
have
that I had
tits,
to be
yeah,
ready
that's just a normal
to
thing.
exchange one life for my own. She understood that I wanted to go back home, to my New York. She said, come back in 3 years. And I did. I waited 1,095 days.
Are we going to talk about the breeze behind the eyes again?
3 years later. At first, I could not understand her. Her voice.
Okay,
was
does
like a breeze
eventually
behind my eyes.
eventually
It
change?
was cold, and I could not move. But eventually, I could understand. She said that I had to be ready to exchange one life for my own. She understood that I wanted to go back home, to my New York. She said, come back in 3 years. And I did. I waited.
It's a loop, but not repetition.
95 days. While I waited, I met a man. He was a very important man. A secret agent. He followed me everywhere. One day, I found him waiting inside my house.
Normal and
He
okay?
told me that he was here to monitor me. No. To watch and protect me. But he had fallen in love with me.
That's not normal.
No one else liked me. So, we took each other. We grew close.
Do we know his name?
Loved me.
Leonard.
I loved him too.
Okay.
Together, we had a baby boy. I named him Everett.
Right, after the person you met.
Little Everett was inside for 9 months when I saw the tree again. She put directions in my head. I followed those directions. I walked for 4 days. I had to. I wanted to go home so badly.
Read the video after the description ends.
I became so happy.
Okay, don't let me
when I could
forget.
hear the music. It was like the tree's voice, but warm. The Washington Monument looked much bigger in person. Its door went up high, like it was for something much bigger. Then I went inside. There were bodies everywhere. The breeze told me to relax. I went on the elevator. It went up. All the way up. It stopped at the top, and the music blared. It was so loud I could not move. The floor opened, and I fell all the way down. I felt myself hit the ground. Then I kept drifting down, past the ground, past rock, sand, and magma, through the layers of earth. It must have been years. It felt like 500 years.
Again?
When I reached the other side, and I felt myself rising through all the layers of earth, past the magma, sand, and rock, past the ground, back into a body, another body, almost the same body, and flattened like a little red pancake. But I felt so empty. My belly had sunk. Little Everett was not with me anymore. Many others laid around me, broken like me, almost alive and completely still. But little Everett was nowhere. While everyone else exchanged for their own lives themselves, I must have exchanged little Everett for mine.
Ah.
I cried.
That's fucked up and sad.
For years.
It felt like 500 years.
And all blood into the ground for years. Why did the tree keep us alive? Did they like pain? Did they drink our blood? Was there any reason for any of it? I lost little Everett. He had no say.
So he didn't die. He was the same Everett from
I ruined his life.
in the
Maybe he lives
the
in
tree
Wonderland.
land.
I hope he lives in Wonderland.
It's gotta be, right? Like,
One day,
he was named after himself, yeah.
random day, the music grew, and there was the brightest flash. We found ourselves outside, at the base of the tower. The tree had been freed, and we were in a field of trees. Wonderland had risen, but little Everett was still missing.
Like, are you good now? Like,
We
so...
were all lifted out in helicopters.
Okay.
I was
So
at the
this is back in the
hospital
Dean verse, right?
faster than ever before. They told me it was 2003. They told me everything I knew was wrong. They told me everyone I knew was dead. And now they plan to fix me. I'm sorry, Pa. I'm sorry, Ma.
Everyone in this universe has a
Sorry,
shitty
friend.
mic. It's just an aesthetic thing. I don't know why.
I'm sorry, Leonard. I'm sorry, Everett. Please remember me.
Car sounds?
Please. Please remember me.
Ah, okay. So a second lobotomy, so that way we made sure it goes through right. How do we know it was called that? If you want someone to shut the fuck up, yeah. Also, like, apparently, do they still do lobotomies according to Live Science? Now, I don't know who Live Science is, so I don't know if I trust them, but they say yes sometimes. Rarely, if ever. Who the fuck is Live Science? Like, I question your legitimacy here. Who the fuck are you? About Us, yes. Like, why would we still be doing lobotomies? FBI, Rev's FBI agent watching him. Like, my FBI agent has, like, the easiest job. He just tunes in on Twitch. Like, shout out to my like, FBI agent in chat. Like, you're doing great, fam. Thanks for the sub. Probably. Passed away in 1980, but she was told it was 2003.
Yes, I dream that
Okay.
like the stars in the Milky
Okay.
Way.
It is recommended that I read the description. Everett Arnoldson, commonly referred to as the 20th Washington absentee, is a humanoid creature that purported to inhabit the forests of the Washington Zone. Have you seen Everett? Share your sightings on Twitter. Yeah, I saw you say it the first time, so there's no reason to copy paste. What was the comment from the creator? Same information. Oh wow, here it is again. Oh, wow, okay, we're going into that. After making various stops around the United States, Air Force One flew into restricted airspace of Washington, D.C. Okay, so real quick, let's talk about that last video. So she was the girl who wanted to put a star on top of the tree in Rockefeller Center, but shit happened, and then she's in a different universe now, possibly ours or possibly the Deanverse. Then Everett is found in that in-between land, and she gets sent to the Deanverse, and then she wants to get back, and so the tree with the tits, Leonard is her husband and the guy who works as the Delaware Journal. Okay, I didn't put that together. I know that Leonard was the guy who worked for the government, but the tree with the tits tells her to come back for like 12 years every 3 years or something. 9 years? I don't remember how many times that repeated. And on the last time, she's pregnant, and that is good enough to be able to go to the Washington Monument to get tricked into falling off the thing like a bunch of other people did. And that actually allowed her to go back to her original universe, whichever one that happened to be. And Deanverse, real world Deanverse. Okay. And so I don't know who the 20th, because they mentioned 19 people originally that were part of the Washington Monument people, but then they also mentioned 20. And so she's the 20th? Or Everett's the 20th? Or there was no 20th? I'm very confused. Everett was the 20th, but he got lost. Does that depend on which timeline we're in? Or is it always Everett? Okay. Is Mike streaming tonight? I have no idea, dude. No idea. The United States of America, legally known as the United Zones of America. The Alcatraz Zone, sure. The Rushmore Zone, and then the Washington Zone, yeah. Don't ask me when the other, like, real quick, don't ask me when the other streamers are streaming. Like, just follow them on Twitter, and they'll tweet out when they go live. And either they'll go live or they won't. And if they don't, sorry, I'm streaming. You can watch me. It's considered kind of bad Twitch etiquette to ask when other streamers are streaming, even if they're my friends. Because it's just like, oh, I'd rather be watching this. It's good. You're good. But I'm just letting everyone know because it's like the third time it's happened today. And I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? waste. Haha, Sapa. I'm not gonna think. Out of 3, 1. Al Gore's America's a shell. For the true ruler beneath our feet, it is time for the underground god to leave. He does not belong here. Al Gore, the underground god. But the world egg cannot hatch without force. We must fracture the zones ourselves. We must split the earth open. Al Gore got that recount. Once it leaves, there will be peace and a state for each and every person. No more zones. For the cracks will be the true borders. 1,000 states of America. There's no subtitles. 1,000 states of peace. We are no longer the anti-device organization. We're the advocates of the division of America. How will we divide the land? With our fallen angel, of course. Okay, so they were behind that. Who would have thought that he would land on the tomb of the unknown soldier? We found him before anyone else. Burnt and broken from the blast. After we fix him, he will be walking in a walking atom bomb. We will evict the Horned Serpent the same way we evicted the traitor, President Rockefeller, from reality. Okay, so the Horned Serpent, is that referencing... I remember when they were talking about the computer networks, they talked about it as a Horned Serpent. And so they yeeted... Rockefeller is erased / dead. Wait, is the fallen angel the one guy? Wait, Rockefeller got one guide? The United States got one guide? Okay. Sure. Advocates for the Division of America. So ADA again. We only keep the acronym ADA. The unification of 1980 was short-lived as state borders were restored by the end of the decade. However, due to the extent of the unification of 2003, state borders are not expected to be restored within the century. Okay. ADA refuses to acknowledge the 3 zones and their capitals. There's Angel. Fallen angel in the tomb of the unknown soldier. One guy. He's just nerves. He's just a little nervous. -2? Come on. I lost like 20 points. Liberty Lurkers. We're doing that too. All right. Statue of Progress is a colossal neoclassical sculpture at the entryway of Suez Canal in Port Said in Egypt. I actually have no idea what that word is. I'm sorry. I probably sound like an asshole right now. Progress was designed by Frederick August, who later designed the Statue of Liberty. Said. Okay, I pronounced it right. I was like, it's gotta be, right? Following audio is excerpt from the interview with the developer of the Suez Canal. I didn't know it needed to be wider. Many cannot name the region in which my accent is from. I blame many years in diplomatic service for this. While my accent has suffered at its hands, my understanding of human nature has not. Split Gear, thank you for the 21 months of support. It's very kind of you. Diplomacy, not psychology, is the true study of the mind. Today, I know that there's only happiness, one genuine source of happiness, and it's the source of every category of happiness. Efficiency. Normal people. All happiness flows from efficiency. When I hug my wife, the feeling I have in my heart is because it's efficient. Pogbot, no. That was a joke. It is the ease of success, not the success itself, which best determines the quality of satisfaction. It is my desire for efficiency that drove me to establish the Suez Canal Company. Like the Colossus of Antiquities, I wish to unite the trade of East and West, which to pull them together in the fraction of time that I had taken for them to engage in the past. There is a dream I would like to share with all of you, perhaps a premonition. A traveler in a distant future stands at the entrance of the Suez Canal and watches ships drift past with rapture. So we've built another fucking thing. And let me guess, this one also has a tree in it. The traveler realizes that they have achieved true happiness, greater than any human who has ever stood there before. For at their feet, their place in time, the canal will have spared our civilization totals of millions of years in sailing time. Okay. I guess you can get off on that. Of course, we will not be there to share their realization, and the traveler will only know us as characters in the myths of their time. You have such small dick energy. But believe me, it will happen. Ships will service for hundreds of years longer, and sailors will spend less time reaching their destinations and more time in their destinations. The Suez Canal is efficient, and happiness will flow from it endlessly. Until now, what you have heard was from a speech I wrote at the Grand Canal. I did not read this speech. I could not bring myself to lie to everyone. Oh, okay, cool. I did not choose to build the canal. The man beneath America ordered me to. Any night, he can sink into my dreams. Normal and fine and good. So, the ADA, who was trying to burrow into the earth to find that guy, and this is also done by ADA, the Anti-Dean Association, the Anti-Device Association, the Anti-Division Association. Well. George Washington be circling. Is this the new Backrooms? I feel like this came out before Backrooms. Real tree falling moments. The cherry tree was a special tree. Really? Oh shit, he rotated. George Long Washington. He's long. He's become long. He's become big. Becoming longent. He wasn't in widened. He was in longend. For years, it was believed that all surviving Arctic recordings of the famous Liberty Lurker interview with Frederick August Bartholomew were fakes produced by American publicists. These publicists were known as Liberty Liars and would sell their fake, false artifacts to American socialites. Okay. However, the authenticity of one audio recording continues to be disputed. It is known as the authentic Liberty Lurker. To Providence, I confess, it is heavy burden that I cannot share. Okay, hold up. Hold up. I did not read all that shit. You started halfway. That I cannot share with the world, but I can not keep carrying it on my shoulders alone. It's the most difficult part, the painful, the one that made my sleep go away and my hair go gray. It was the construction of the pedestal. Although the statue was intended to be a gift, the United States ambassador regularly encouraged us to follow the President Grant's requests. That French is broken? Okay, is it not good French? I don't speak French. I don't speak any language. Including English. I'm stupid. I don't know how to speak. We made a deal. Each month we received varying design and size requirements for the pedestal. The description basically says apologies. Okay, so it's badly translated. After 4 years, requests to change the size of the structure ceased. People often ask why the pedestal is so disproportionate to the statue. All I can tell them is ask the Americans. But I know why the pedestal is so massive and so tall. I simply cannot bring myself to tell them the truth. I'm not strong enough. There's some differences with the English in meaning, terms of meaning and wording. Is it, like, completely inaccurate, or is it, like, there's subtleties that make it so that way he actually might be saying something slightly different that is important? The truth being that I designed the Albator. Google Translate quality, gotcha. Just for him. Grant told me that he used to be normal like this. He called him the Horned Serpent, or the Hongandiers, the Devourer of Villagers. It was the name given to George Washington by the Iroquois. It is no coincidence. It's wonky, it's just not wrong. Okay. George Washington was the Horned Serpent. So the ADA is anti-Washington as well, right? Their damn founding father locked up in my foundation. They wanted to wake the They wanted to wake the horned serpent. The ADA wanted to wake the horned serpent. No, they wanted to wake the guy who lives under the earth, right? That's not Washington, right? I'm so confused now. That's him. That is Washington. The horned serpent. So, the ADA is trying to release George Washington on the world to prevent Dean? And that's why he was elongated. So that way he's serpent-shaped. Oh, okay. The damn founding father locked up in my foundation. Can we get a quick recap for the people who joined late? Boy, howdy. God. Okay, so this is season 2 and it's almost over. Is no a correct answer? Like, I feel like you kind of got to watch the first one to understand this one. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, normally I would, but is the plot of this more or less confusing than Zero Escape? It's obscured, but it makes sense to me. The timeline things, the multiple timelines are confusing me. I have no idea where the girl who put the star on top of the tree, like what her original universe is. Like, I have no idea. Doing a bridge version then. There are multiple universes. In one of them, James Dean didn't die and he just races people. His best friend is Richard Nixon, who says, "You'd be a better president than me anyway." And so he's president and he gives the shittiest possible press conferences. I'm pretty sure he tried to kill people. The Suez Canal was blocked by the Ever Given, which was a crab. A giant crab that President Hillary Clinton tried to nuke out of position and then it started running around. Who is Dean? James Dean, the American actor who in our timeline died of a car wreck. This is George Washington. Following release of the Liberty Lurker, surveyed the environment beneath the Statue of Liberty's pedestal. Luigi Guy, thank you for the 6 years of support and just for being an awesome mod. Holy shit. Hold up. Like, thank you, my dude. That's massive. Thank you so much. Thank you. 6 years, dude, of putting up with my bullshit. It's a very long time. Thank you. I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit because people are saying to. They recorded the following video inside the Horned Serpent metastructure, colloquially known as Wonderland. Which is what what's her name was calling it, right? The Treeverse. Yeah, we can call it the Treeverse. The following clip may disturb viewers who are sensitive to loud noises. Okay, I've turned it down to half. Prolonged exposure to music from the Horned Serpent metastructure may damage your brain. Why are you showing it to me then? Is this the tree place? Oh, that's wild. And she was locked in here for like 500 years, maybe? It's trees all the way up and down. Yeah, thank you for the heads up to turn down the volume. Holy shit, it's still like peaking the audio. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more. This must have been made in like some program or something, like Gmod or whatever. But the camera movements are so smooth. It was made in Blender. VR probably to get the wobble. That makes sense. VR chat would make a lot of sense. All right, I'm turning up the volume again. Oh, I need to watch the back rooms. I still haven't. Back rooms is good and short. Watch them after this. I think we'll probably stop after this so I don't blow my voice out prior to tomorrow. Because tomorrow is March of the Mice. And I've been working on it for like a month. You know, a little bit more into that than this. The Tree of Liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Yes, that's the thing. Oh. I'm sorry, what was it? Hold up. Something about the ADA? Doesn't say. Cool. I hate that this is a thing down here. Final upload of Dr. Disturbing. When is March of the Mice? March of the Mice is going to be at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's currently almost 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, 21 hours from now, if I'm doing my math right. What's that? It's Twitch plays D&D, basically. I'd highly recommend the condensed playlist before then. I'll just do crack and... I mean, they're pretty short. The Road to Happiness by James Dean. It's like trees, right? That's an actual painting by James Dean. That's fucking weird with the trees. Hope to see you soon, Dad. Three days after the final uploads, the remains of Lauren and Quinn Arnolson were discovered in the Grand Canyon. Siblings were last seen riding on two astonishingly large balloons, probably the whatever they call it, crowns. According to park officials, the balloons encountered an unexpected crosswind, which caused both siblings to fall to their deaths. Okay. reunited with their dad and aunt. Sure. Hello, by the time you see this, I will be dead. I'd like you to know that the Anti-Device Association held me captive for years and forced me to read their scripts to hand them legitimacy. You've heard me read about the Lincoln Lookers and Starry Sphinx. Those words were not in my mouth. Those were their words in my mouth. I did not keep a close eye on me. What was that? But they did not keep a close eye on me as they should have. Whenever I visited my family, I went to my studio underground. And I was able to read my own scripts through the New Delaware Journal. The feds and the association thought Arnoldson ran the station. But I had no crew. It was a one-man operation. I only read. I only broadcast. Only I read. Only I broadcast. This is my last script. It's my last broadcast. 3 nights before my death, Alcatraz went stealth. It looked like it had completely disappeared, but it was still here. It was all around us. It simply just expanded. Imperceptibly fast. It mimicked the surroundings of the environment on a subatomic level. Everyone believed that it had not yet spread to the East Coast yet, but it definitely did. I have just finished the last batch of tests, and I can confidently say that I am not the same person I was 3 days ago. Alcatraz has copied us all overnight. Every particle of this country and its innocence replaced. The United States is the ship of Theseus. Inside my skull is Alcatraz's fleshy reproduction of my brain. I remember a line from President Dean. If we sent everyone to prison, then what is a prison anymore? If everyone became a prison, then what is a person anymore? I will not live with a copy of myself. Better extinguish myself now than to live a lifetime. I heard fire does the trick. Maybe I'll see you in the next life. Remember me. For Everett. For Virginia. For America. Leonard, right, Leonard, okay. Did I see that outline? That was Alcatraz? Okay. Will receive data he will convey it to you in the theatrical manner. He will arrive in your world after our apocalypse. 2/22/22, which is when this was posted. In ours, 10/1/16, and yours. 10/1/16 is when the channel was created. Okay. After a brief investigation, it was concluded that Leonard Moreland experienced a violent psychotic break before committing self-immolation. Advocates for deranged, they're all ashes now. They'll never be weapons again. Leave us alone or join the ash pile. After 2 decades search, the angel was located in the Babylon forest. Okay, that's fine and normal and good. This is the organization put together to make everyone have hearing aids or fix their hearing with androids. Everyone's just vibing out. At the Grand Canyon, 2 androids lure freedom. The captive false children react to her presence. Energy from the false children react with the IPC, the invisible particle cloud known as Giza gas. X-Wing warrior collects the container. Warrior transports freedom to the Babylon forest. And there you go. You get to be here. You can be a triangle over here. Controlled decay of the container allowed freedom to exit after touchdown. And freedom is just going ape shit, cutting down things again. It's what it does. And there's the one guy. Freedom encountered the angel. Lasered. One guy versus freedom. Mutually assured destruction. Okay. Ah. Loud. I'll turn it down just in case. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. One guy. Whoops. What was that? Oh. Okay, cool and normal. George Washington? This is at half volume, by the way. And then we're in Wonderland, I guess? Or is George Washington? The line between George Washington and Wonderland is really thin. I don't know quite what I'm looking at. So the ADA are the bad guys? The angel killed ADA. Everyone was the bad guys? Because, like, yeah, I guess it's not as linear as, like, the ADA are the bad guys. James Dean, his last words were, "I'm surprised." I'll be real with you. This, survivors of the Great Division are known as corner folk. Ah. Freedom versus the Angel ended up waking up George Washington, the Serpent, and caused the end of existence, as you saw. And that's... So there's another playlist here called Corner Folk. And so the series is ongoing. You're gonna watch the last, like, couple seconds of this, just in case. Okay. So... Corner folk floor. I haven't watched the Gemini home entertainment stuff. I haven't watched it yet on stream yet. The Corner Folk was made beforehand, but feels like a sequel. Okay. We can give it a quick watch. It doesn't look like it's that long. Do Pets Cop? We need to do Pets Cop. I should probably actually get into that at some point, because I have no idea what that is. There's another series on the channel before the change today called House in the Ocean, but it was deleted for some reason. It's part of the ARG. I don't know what. Gemini is great. Gemini is, like, creepy. I've seen bits of it. Alright. So this is Corner Folk, which is related to the other one.
Many dimensions intersect with their own, several of which are 2D planes. When two or more planes intersect, they form corners. Entities in the intersecting planes cannot perceive each other. They exist separately, in their own worlds. However, the corner folk can pass these boundaries and enter other planes. The corner folk are a trans-dimensional species. They are the only ones who can traverse the corners shaped by planes.
Okay.
Coincidentally, I believe that the corners
Well, I
of my
do
own
the
home
sun
are one of
vanished
several
after
planes,
this.
for I've seen the corner folk in action, crossing the corners from one reality to another.
Maybe. Thank you for the 200 bits, Lacune. I don't know what that is. It's gonna be jump scare. Oh, there it is. Oh, you're doing it for us. Well, fella. So...
This leap requires massive amounts of energy that, when released, produces bright blue flashes. I have yet to discover the source of this energy, and the reason behind the cornerfolk crossings remains unknown.
Huh.
While I was at work, my cameras captured up to 12 cornerfolk huddling in the doorway. I used to think that they had to cross dimensions quickly, but the new footage has proven otherwise. When I'm not around, they take a break from traveling and exhibit micro-movements similar to dreaming animals. They must feel safe in these corners, which suggests that the cornerfolk's own home is made of similar structures. I imagine that their corner world is made of many plane intersections, allowing them to move freely without using up any energy. My photographs show that smaller cornerfolk have odd impressions on their skin, as though they have been pressed against many plane intersections at once. The corners likely belong to a nursery or a crib in their homeworld. A multitude of corners placed in close proximity could be used to secure the infant from leaving the corner world. Perhaps they only cross corners in search of food, the same way we only leave our homes for resources. The corner world may be used to raise young, while my own house's corners serve as rest stops of sorts during their journeys.
This is really weird. What the fuck?
I've begun to dream of the corner world. I can't stop thinking about it. According to the calendar, I've spent entire weeks in my home, just drawing and describing the corner world on paper.
This was made in 2020, so
I lost my job last month due to repeated absences.
That might just be
It
COVID
really
shit.
does feel like I just left the office.
Actually, this is in August, so
when the corner folk jump,
yeah, I mean,
it feels as
that
though
would
they're
make sense.
taunting
Yeah,
me.
no, this started in 2019,
But I'm close to a
really
solution.
hit America in 2020.
Regardless of whether my body survives the forces of the corner world or not, this much is certain. The fear of my own destruction will not prevent my entry.
Dude finds alternate universes in the corner of his house because of weird geometry. Oh, okay. You did it. Volume warning. Okay, thanks. I mean, it looks like the tree shit. His internal organs had been folded. Okay. This has Mr. Squirrel energy. Wait, is Mr. Squirrel dead because of the universe being destroyed by George Washington? He might be corner folk. Okay, that's good. No license plate. Suspicious and weird.
Do it again.
Oh shit. Oh.
Okay, I don't believe you. I don't believe you for a second.
Let's go!
What is it?
No.
Why? What is it?
You wanna come through here?
Why? Is there someone outside?
No, so I might be seeing things, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on in this car.
What? Where am I looking at?
Next to the rearview window. Rearview mirror.
Baby. Said it was the first time they broke the windows there to recover children. What the fuck?
Now let's learn about the sides and corners of different shapes. A side or an edge is a line segment that joins two adjacent corners of a shape. A corner or vertex is the point where the two sides touch. Let's look at this triangle. It has three sides. 1, 2, 3. It also has three corners. 1, 2, 3.
I have no idea what that means. I don't know what the fuck. All right. So he figured out that you can jump into corners of rooms in order to, like, go places, do things. What? We'll have to come back to this because I have a feeling that like this is not over. You know, Ark turned into possible serial killer hunt. No, yeah. That's really weird, dude. All right, we'll keep up with it. I haven't ever tried to keep up with an ARG before, but we're gonna have to try and keep up with this one. But to the best of my understanding, check the latest upload before you go. I need to see my wife at some point. There's no house in the ocean. It's 30 seconds long. We can watch it. Did you think that Alex survived both times? I got nothing. I have no idea what the fuck that means. No idea what that is. I don't know, man. Description? Schedule for removal. Comments turned off. You don't have the context for the other video, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so like... It happened today when you started streaming. Cool. Okay, so I get the monument mythos. I get how it ends. George Washington woke up and destroyed reality by being released, and that had to do with the one guy and freedom fighting, and then that blew up, that hatched George Washington, who unleashed the trees. Boy, I sound insane. And the people who survived that apocalypse of trees everywhere always are called corner folk. And then in the corner folk videos, we learn that corner folk live in literal actual corners. But also, like, that's just because it's a rest stop. It's a comfortable spot for them based on their geometry, on how they live. And so they live in between universes. So it's not just the physical corner. It's also that, like, yeah, they live in pocket dimensions. And this last one, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I'm gonna just admit, I have no idea what the fuck this is. Like, this is nothing. This is nothing to me. I have no idea what do you really think that Alex survived both times means. There's no house in the ocean. No one does. Okay, cool. So I don't have to feel bad about not having any idea what the fuck is happening right now. What did Silver say? He pogged too hard. I think I missed the thing that you meant that they said. There are two Alexes. There's Alex Kansas and Alex Canassa. The one from the Mystery Mythos. And the other one from the Corner Folk. Okay. Is this guy's cinematic universe? It'll come together at some point. It feels like it does, though. Okay, so I think we just okay. So you're not going to hear from this series probably like as far as me covering it for a bit. But once there's some sort of like actual noticeable update, let me know and we'll do a quickie video on it. But I still don't know quite what this is. Backrooms next? Yeah, I mean, let me know what series you want me to cover next. Obviously, March of the Mice tomorrow. Be there. I've worked really hard on it. I'm going for shorter ones now rather than longer ones. But they're going to be more impactful ones. People will live and die based on your decisions tomorrow. So, show up. What time? So time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Right now, it is 8:27 Central Standard Time tomorrow. So, if you are watching live, that is 21 hours-ish from now? 1 hour difference to EST, yes. So that with respect, it just ain't my jam. That's totally fine to understand. No worries. I'd rather read all the spoiler stuff on TV tropes. There's one for Town of Nowhere, but no one's made one for March of the Mice. March of the Mice is it hits a different crowd than. There isn't a March of the Mice one yet. I would like if someone made one, because honestly, just making the thing is not really giving me time to make auxiliary content for it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I probably won't stream up until 5, so I'm going to just take care of myself, relax, get some last little bit stuff done. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.